We are hearing SRIMAD Bhagavatam. Now Devahuti is offering her glorifications and prayers to Kapil Bhagavan after he instructed her about pure devotional service. Yesterday we heard, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have taken birth from my abdomen. O my Lord, how is that possible for the Supreme One who has in his belly all the cosmic manifestation? The answer is that it is possible, for at the end of the millennium you lie down on a leaf of a banyan tree, and just like a small baby you lick the toe of your lotus foot. Here Sai Maharaj is telling, at the time of dissolution, the Lord sometimes appears as a small baby lying on a leaf of a banyan tree, floating on the devastating water. Therefore, Devahuti suggests, your lying down within the abdomen of a common woman like me is not so astonishing. You can lie down on the leaf of a banyan tree and float on the water of devastation as a small baby. It is not very wonderful, therefore, that you can lie down in the abdomen of my body. You teach us that those who are very fond of children within this material world and who therefore enter into marriage to enjoy family life with children can also have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their child. And the most wonderful thing is that the Lord himself licks his toe. And he is eternal child, not temporary. Sometimes if some persons came to our Gurudev crying that my son died, then Gurudev told, you accept Krishna as your son. Or some devotees, they said, I don't want to have children. Then Gurudev said, you take Krishna as your child. Since all the great sages and devotees apply all energy and all activities in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there must be some transcendental pleasure in the toes of his lotus feet. The Lord licks his toe to taste the nectar for which the devotees always aspire. He himself wants to taste his sweetness. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself wonders how much transcendental pleasure is within himself, and in order to taste his own potency, he sometimes takes the position of tasting himself. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, but he appears as a devotee to taste the sweetness of the transcendental mellow in himself, which is tasted by Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees. It is by Achintya Shakti, God can do anything. And as Srila Sridhar Maharaj told, he can change at any time anything in this material world. What we have experienced about time and space and all the laws of material nature, he can change anytime. So scientific research to find the conclusion of the creation, everything, to find the conclusive truth is therefore baffled, failure, because it is never reliable. Krishna can change anytime by his Achintya Shakti. Tvam deha tantrah prashamaya papmanam nidesha bhajam cha vibho vibhutaye yatha vataras tava sukara dayas tathayam apyatma pato Palabdaye. My dear Lord, you have assumed this body in order to diminish the sinful activities of the fallen and to enrich their knowledge in devotion and liberation. Since these sinful people are dependent on your direction, by your own will you assume incarnations as a boar and as other forms. Similarly, you have appeared in order to distribute transcendental knowledge to your dependents. He is always merciful to fallen souls. Fallen souls are those who became averse to Krishna, did not want to serve him, but wanted to enjoy Maya. They went against their nature, wanted to enjoy Maya, and then all since this is sin, this is the original sin, then so many sins coming and suffering, but Krishna never forgets us. We forget him, but he does not. So he wants to rescue us from this Maya by appearing in different avatars. Kapil Bhagavan is one of those, to give knowledge, transcendental knowledge to us. He gave to Devahuti and he instructed this knowledge how it should be given to whom. Yan namadheya shravananu kirtanat yat prahvanat yat smaranat api kvachit shvadopi sadhyah savanaya kalpate kutah punaste bhagavan no darshanat. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face. Even a person born in a family of dog-eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. Yesterday I was telling this, that by chanting, by hearing and chanting about Krishna, one will destroy his prarabdha karma of taking birth in certain family. According to Vedic, only Brahmins can do Vedic sacrifices. Those who are not born in Brahmin family or don't have Brahminical qualities, they are not eligible to do that. But here it says that dog eater can do that. Means that prarabdha karma was destroyed. Here, Sai Maharaj is telling, herein the spiritual potency of chanting, hearing, or remembering the holy name of the Supreme Lord is greatly stressed. Rupa Goswami has discussed the sequence of sinful activities of the conditioned soul and has established in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that those who engage in devotional service become freed from the reactions of all sinful activities. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu you will find in detail, Rupa Goswami told what is the avidya, that is the root cause, then kuta, bija, and all this pap, mahapap, how the sins are gradually evolved. But origin is avidya, that is ignorance. That ignorance is the cause of ignorance is aversion to knowledge, who is Supreme Lord. So original sin is this avidya, but avidya is not forced on us. Those who become averse to Krishna, those who turn their face away from the sun, they will see shadow. It is not sun's fault, but those who become averse, so they are ignorant. Then all sins happen. But by bhakti, Rupa Goswami wrote there, one can be freed from the reactions of all sinful activities. Yes, this aprarabdha comes, avidya, kuta, bija, aprarabdha, prarabdha, karma. All can be destroyed. Avidya also. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that He takes charge of one who surrenders unto Him, and He makes him immune to all reactions to sinful activities. If by chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes so swiftly cleared of all reactions to sinful activities, then what is to be said of those persons who see Him face to face? Here also depends what kind of vision one has. In Vedanta Sutra it is explained that in which case one will get liberation. He must have darshan of Supreme Lord, but what kind of darshan? Darshan with knowledge, means with devotion. Some people, they may see Supreme Lord because of their pious activities, but they will not have proper vision of Him. There are some examples they are given. And they will get freed from sins like this, but they will not get ultimate liberation. Only one who sees Him with devotion will get ultimate liberation. And there it is written, even demons who are killed by Krishna, at first they don't see Him properly. But when He kills them, removing their wrong vision, He destroys their gross and subtle body, then they can see Him as He is. Then because of that devotion to Krishna, they become liberated. Another consideration here is that persons who are purified by the process of chanting and hearing become immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. Generally, only a person who is born in a family of Brahmanas, who has been reformed by the 10 kinds of purificatory processes, that is sanskaras, and who is learned in Vedic literature, is allowed to perform the Vedic sacrifices. Only those. But here the word sadhya immediately is used, and Sridhar Swami also remarks that one can immediately become eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. A person born in a family of the low caste, which is accustomed to eat dogs, is so positioned due to his past sinful activities. But by chanting or hearing once in pureness or in an offenseless manner, he is immediately relieved of the sinful reaction. Not only is he relieved of the sinful reaction, but he immediately achieves the result of all purificatory processes, those sanskaras. Taking birth in the family of a Brahmana is certainly due to pious activities in one's past life. But still, a child who is born in a family of a Brahmana depends for his further reformation upon initiation into acceptance of sacred thread and many other reformatory processes, means diksha into Gayatri. So only being born as a Brahmin is not enough. You have to be dikshit, initiated. Then you can do sacrifices. But a person who chants the holy name of the Lord, even if born in the family of Chandalas or dog-eaters, does not need reformation. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, he immediately becomes purified and becomes as good as the most learned Brahmana. That is why those who are Brahmins because of ignorance, they commit offense to Vaishnavas, not understanding the power of devotion. The devotion can destroy prarabdha karma also. So someone may be, due to bad karma, may be born in some low caste. But if he becomes a devotee, then he destroys that. So that Vaishnava cannot be judged based on his caste. But they don't understand this. That is the problem. Only devotee can recognize devotee and the power of devotion. So because of this reason, as I told yesterday, because Brahmanas were attacking Vaishnavas as being low caste, and even some Vaishnavas, they were thinking, having this propaganda all the time, they were also thinking we are low born, all this. So in order to remove this, Prabhupada started giving this Brahmin threat to those who have chanted Harinam in devotion to Supreme Lord. That is why first you get Harinam initiation, then after that this Diksha. Previously they were giving Diksha, that Pancharatriki Diksha, Pancharatriki Diksha, all other mantras, but not Brahma Gayatri. That is Vedic mantra, not Pancharatrik. So before Prabhupada, no one was giving that. But Jiva Goswami, he explained in his writings about the meaning of Brahma Gayatri in his writings. But no one was giving to those who are not born, means to either to Brahmins or non-Brahmins. But Prabhupada started because of this reason. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ordered him, and Jiva Goswami said, yes, this is possible because of this. Both Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha and Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, they gave this verse of Bhagavatam, which is Vedic scripture, Praman, that Bhakti can destroy Prarabdha karma. Sridhar Swami especially remarks in this connection, Anena Pujyadvam Lakshate. Some caste Brahmanas remark that by chanting Hare Krishna, purification begins. Of course, that depends on the individual process of chanting, how one is chanting. But this remark of Sridhar Swami's is completely applicable if one chants the holy name of the Lord without offense, for he immediately becomes more than a Brahmana. As Sridhar Swami says, Pujyatam, he immediately becomes as respectable as a most learned Brahmana and can be allowed to perform Vedic sacrifices. If simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one becomes sanctified instantly, then what can be said of those persons who see the Supreme Lord face to face and who understand the descent of the Lord as Devahuti understands Kapila Devi? That is here he confirms what I was telling. Because Hiranyakashipu also saw Supreme Lord, but not with proper vision. Those who understand the descent of the Lord, his Supreme Lord, if with such vision they see, then they will be instantly sanctified. Because in Shastra also it is stated that only Brahmin can take sannyas, not any other caste. They can take up to vanaprastha, but not sannyas. So they were objecting to, like Swami Maharaj giving sannyas to Western born devotees. But it is not wrong. According to Shastra, according to this, if they are chanting Harinam with devotion, then they are eligible to take sannyas also. Another thing is if one is, how much one is pure, and if he deviates, that is another thing. But as a matter of eligibility, they can take. Nowadays, you will find even one disciple of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he objects to this, that Western devotees can take sannyasa, based on this statement of Shastra, that only Brahmins can take. But he himself did not properly hear his own guru. One Indian sannyasi, he speaks against this. His own guru giving sannyas to Westerners. That is wrong. That is some caste consciousness still present. Not understanding. Of course, not everyone is automatically pure devotee. If he is Westerner or becoming devotee is pure devotee, or someone is given sannyas that he is definitely pure devotee. That is not the case. But he is trying to advance in devotion. That is okay. If he deviates, that is another thing. But that can happen to Indian-born Brahmin also. He can deviate from sannyas. That is another point. But that it is prohibited to give sannyas to Westerner, that is not correct. Usually, initiation depends on the bona fide spiritual master who directs the disciple. If he sees that a disciple has become competent and purified by the process of chanting, he offers the sacred thread to the disciple just so that he will be recognized as 100% equal with the Brahmana. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur especially, and Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, they started this because at that time Brahmins, they were attacking Vaishnavas and criticizing. And Swami Maharaj also had to face such opposition when he gave Brahminical initiation to Westerners. This was unheard and unseen of in India. How one white man will wear sacred thread. This was totally shocking to Indians. But it is according to Shastra. If you show them, they will have to accept. But if one is only body conscious, then he cannot understand. But those who say we believe in Shastra, then if they are given this evidence, then they have to accept. This is also confirmed in the Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sri Sanatana Goswami. As a base metal like bell metal can be changed into gold by a chemical process, any person can similarly be changed into a Brahmana by Diksha Vidhan, the initiation process. If you mix bell metal with mercury, but in a specific way, then it becomes gold. Like that, one can become Brahmin by initiation. But of course, one must have qualification for getting initiation, that Diksha, Mantra Diksha, that he can become eligible if he chants Harinam. For Harinam, there is even no need of initiation. Harinam is only you hear him and you chant him, you will get result. Or you read in Shastra and you chant, you will get result. But you will get quicker and more reliable progress if you serve holy name under the guidance of bona fide guru. Means Bhagavat Guru, one who is a devotee, and you hear Harinam from him, and you serve Harinam, you chant Harinam under his guidance. Means avoiding these tenfold offenses, he will explain, and about sinful activities and all these things. Then that will help us, such guidance. So as I told, Bhagavat, for Bhagavat mark, one does not need initiation, but Guru is there, Bhagavat Guru, one who will speak, like Shukadev Goswami, Parikit Maharaj hearing. And because people generally, they are not able to understand this Bhagavat mark, Bhagavat process, so they will tell to those who are following this process, no, you need to be initiated by Guru. Without Guru, you cannot progress, you have to take initiation, and they will want to catch them. So only for, they will ask you, who is your Guru? Then if you will say, I have no Guru, then they will say, then you cannot get anything. So you have to come to me. So for this reason, this initiation is also given this type, initiation into Harinam, though there is no formal necessity other than like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. He only spoke the mantra to those householders in Navadip. He spoke the mantra and he said, this is the mantra, and you chant it fixed number, you will get all perfection. There is no hard and fast rules in chanting this mantra all the time you can chant. He told. And he said all perfection you can get. And to Tapan Mishra in Chaitanya Bhagavat also he spoke to this mantra to him and told him, by chanting this mantra you will get perfection. It is sometimes remarked that by the chanting process one begins to purify himself and can take birth in his next life in a Brahmana family and then be reformed. But at this present moment, even those who are born in the best Brahmana families are not reformed, nor is there any certainty that they are actually born of Brahmana fathers. Formerly, the Garbhadhana reformatory system was prevalent, but at the present moment there is no such Garbhadhana or seed-giving ceremony. Under these circumstances, no one knows if a man is factually born of a Brahmana father. If this is not done nowadays, those who say we are born Brahmins, so many things they are not doing according to Brahminical, and drinking alcohol or smoking like this. So many things. In Kali Yuga, Brahmin is not to be found easily. Whether one has acquired the qualification of a Brahmana depends on the judgment of the bona fide spiritual master. He bestows upon the disciple the position of a Brahmana by his own judgment, if he has such qualities. Like you know that Satyakama, he wanted to learn Vedic knowledge. He came to Guru, then Guru asked him, from which family you are? He said, I don't know. Then Guru told him, then you go and ask your mother. Then he went to his mother. Mother said, I also cannot say, because I was with many men. I was serving in that way. So what to do, I don't know. Then without any shame, he came back to Guru and he said, I don't know which family I belong. My mother told me she was with many men because she was maid servant and doing this job. She was with many men, so she does not know which family I belong. So I don't know. Then immediately Guru accepted him. Yes, you are Brahmin, I know, because you are speaking the truth. You are not ashamed of the truth. You are not trying to cover the truth for some other purpose. We are lying always with some purpose behind. Not knowing the, because we are thinking about the consequence that something will be better if I lie than some result I can achieve. But we never consider, we never think that lying is a sin, and that lying also has a consequence, which is bad. That is why now in Kali Yuga very difficult to find someone who is not lying. It's very difficult to find someone who is speaking truth. All are trying to somehow for some purpose behind, but not understanding that lying is a sin for which you will have to get a result, punishment. And the more heavy lie is there or harming, then the more reaction. You can remember when those robbers, they spoke lie against Jayadev Goswami. First they attacked him, then when they were exposed like this, then they spoke against Jayadev Goswami, total lie they spoke. That one king ordered us to kill him for some good reason. That is why we were there, all these things. Heavy lie they spoke against devotee. Then Mother Earth immediately swallowed them there and that spot. And Mother Earth declared, I can tolerate anything, but I cannot tolerate the sinner who always lies. It's a great sin. To lie is a sin in Shastra. But nowadays no one thinking about this. But it is a sin. So Brahmana, Guru immediately judged him. You are a Brahmana because you are speaking truth. You are truthful. So by this quality I can understand you are Brahmin. You come, I will give you initiation, I will teach you Vedic knowledge. You are eligible. Without thinking about his birth. No, that is not the main point. When one is accepted as a Brahmana in the sacred thread ceremony under the Pancharatrika system, then he is Dvija, twice born. That is confirmed by Sanatana Goswami, Dvijatam Jayate. By the process of initiation by the spiritual master, a person is accepted as a Brahmana in his purified state of chanting the holy name of the Lord. He then makes further progress to become a qualified Vaishnava, which means that the Brahminical qualification is already acquired. Harinam is more merciful. He will extend his grace to the most fallen and sinful. Only you need faith. That is why first one is given this initiation or encouragement into chanting. Then by that chanting, he will become eligible for Pancharatrika Diksha, which will further help him in his surrender to Krishna, which will help him to better chant properly. Sridhar Maharaj explained one small circle and a big circle. Big circle is Harinam. It is the extending his grace to most fallen, and it will take you to the highest. It will take you to Prema in Goloka. And this Pancharatriki is middle circle. By Harinam you will come to this. Then this will help you for your surrender and to remove bad qualities and engage everything necessary, Sharanagati, all this. Then your Harinam will be pure. And then that pure Harinam will take you to Goloka. There is that evidence is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Harinam does not wait upon or does not depend on Purascharana, other vidis, diksha, all these things. No, he's independent. Bhakti is independent. Harinam is independent. Whoever will chant with faith, he will get result. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also started this because you will get proper benefit and fast, quick result if you chant Harinam under the guidance of pure devotee. But it is also not always the case, as we can see in the case of Ajamil. He didn't have any Harinam guru, initiation guru, no. He chanted Namabas, but because he had no offenses, that name was working. He gave him a removal of all sinful activities and liberation he got without guru. It is stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, without guru, he got that result. Because he stated there, but one should not take this as like that now we will think, okay, I also don't need guru. No, then it will not be good. This is exceptional case. It is in Shastra injunction that one has to take shelter of bona fide guru and do bhakti under his guidance. That is also chanting and everything. So he also did when he heard the glories of Supreme Lord and devotion of Supreme Lord from those Vishnu Dutas. They became his gurus. He heard, then he was inspired, then he went to that Vishnu temple and was chanting Harinam for Vishnu satisfaction in relation, which he heard from those Vishnu Dutas. Then he got Vaikuntha. So under the guidance of pure devotee, we have to chant. Aho bata shvapacho to garian, ya jihvagre vartate nama tubhyam, tepus tapaste juhuvu sasnur arya, Brahman nuchur nama grinanti yete. This is also a very famous verse. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog-eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. Here, Sai Maharaj is clarifying, as it is stated in the previous verse, a person who has once offenselessly chanted the holy name of God becomes immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. One should not be astonished by this statement of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. One should not disbelieve or think, how by chanting the holy name of the Lord can one become a holy man to be compared to the most elevated Brahmana? To eradicate such doubts in the minds of unbelievers, this verse affirms that the stage of chanting of the holy name of the Lord is not sudden, but that the chanters have already performed all kinds of Vedic rituals and sacrifices. It is not very astounding, for no one in this life can chant the holy name of the Lord unless he has passed all our stages, such as performing the Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, studying the Vedas and practicing good behavior like that of the Aryans. Like, for example, you remember when the Hiranya and Govardhan, the father and uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami, they were Brahmins. And they were serving the Brahmins. Not Brahmin by caste, by serving the Brahmins, Advaita Acharya also. So they were pious, and they also organized some Harikatha programs in their house with Brahmins, so discussing Shastra, all this. So when Haridas Thakur was staying near their house, they invited him. They gave him one bhajan kutir. From there, Raghunath Das Goswami used to take darshan of Haridas Thakur and pray for his grace, and he heard Harinam. Because of that, he later became the great devotee, he stated. So they invited Haridas Thakur, and they were discussing that day, this topic came about the results of chanting Harinam. So one Brahmin said, if one will chant Harinam, then all his sinful reactions will be removed. Then someone said that one will get liberation. Like this they were speaking. Then Haridas Thakur said, no, that is not the real result of Harinam. A real result of chanting Harinam is to get love of Godhead. To get removal of sinful reactions and to get liberation, that is only by Namabhas one can get. Not by, not even necessary full name. By Namabhas one can get that. Then that Brahmin, Gopal Chakravarti, he became angry. How this is possible? They are practicing so many austerities to get liberation, but this he is saying that can get liberation so easily just by Nama Abbas. Then he challenged him and he said, it is not true. Then Haridas Thakur said, yes, it is true. It is in Shastra. Though Haridas Thakur never spoke Shastric quotes, and he realized this point. He said it is in Shastra. Why? Because he is living in reality. He knows what is the reality by his realization. So he knows Shastra is speaking about reality. All descriptions about reality, they are in Shastra. So it is in Shastra. This is 2 verses here. It is very clear in SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. And there are other quotes also. So many. In Puranas and even in that Rig Veda mantra, all this there. So he said in Shastra. Then that Brahmin, he said, if it is not true, then I will cut off your nose. Because of that offense, he contracted. Because in a challenging mood, he spoke bad about Haridas Thakur. Then, after a few days, he got leprosy and his own nose fell down. Because Haridas Thakur is speaking the truth. So, all this, it is stated here, all kinds of austerities mentioned in Shastra, all fire sacrifices and all good behavior of Aryas, means Varnashram, all this is meant to bring one to devotion. So if one now performs devotion by chanting Harinam, it means he already did all those things because he is doing devotion. And it is possible in this Kali Yuga. This is meant for others, other ages. But in Kali Yuga, it is possible by the grace of Mahaprabhu that someone, even without having done all these things before. One can, by association with sadhu, pure devotee, or SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, which are the gifts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can immediately start devotion. And for him, there will be no need to go all those processes. Already he came to this point of devotion, so no need. And he already has all those qualifications if he starts devotion. Here Sai Maharaj is telling, the holy name has to be chanted to please the Supreme Lord, and not for any sense gratification or professional purpose. If this pure mentality is there, then even though a person is born of a low family, such as a dog eater, he is so glorious that not only he has purified himself, but is quite competent to deliver others. He is competent to speak on the importance of transcendental name, just as Thakur Haridas did. Yes, he was apparently born in a family of Mohammedans, but because he was chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord offenselessly, Lord Chaitanya empowered him to become the authority, or acharya, of spreading the name. It did not matter that he was born in a family which was not following the Vedic rules and regulations. So sometimes we see there is like a music concert. They will chant Harinam Mahamaya like a concert for entertainment and for dancing and for enjoying, like going to nightclub. But this, even now I was little disappointed. I saw some kirtans in India. They are using those lights which are used in Western countries in nightclubs or like beach parties like this, those reflectors they will do, and some beat like that, and they will chant. I was disappointed to see this. It is like encouraging, enjoying spirit. It is like as a party going on. Not as a service to Krishna, but as some kind of party or New Year party, like waiting New Year and so many things. That is, here Sai Maharaj clearly says, the holy name has to be chanted to please the Supreme Lord and not for any sense gratification, my own pleasure, or professional purpose. For money, I become guru, and I chant and I initiate into Harinam for getting donation. Or like that man, he engaged one kirtan party to chant because he wants to win a court case. Or someone wants some money or something, he will engage. That is aparat to the name. Trying to use for your own purpose. Or if for liberation also they are doing, that is not proper. That is offensive. But Haridas Thakur was chanting without offense. Here, authorities like Advaita Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya immediately, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Prabhu accepted him as an authority because he was offenselessly chanting the name of the Lord, means not with any other purpose except service of Krishna. Authorities like Advaita Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya immediately accepted that he had already performed all kinds of austerities, studied the Vedas, and performed all sacrifices. Because he came to devotion. The purpose of all this is to bring you to devotion. So now already he is devotion, so everything done, that is automatically understood. Yes. Yes. Here, Sai Maharaj telling that some smarta Brahmins, they will admit, yes, by chanting holy name one can be purified, but they will have to wait for next birth in the family of Brahmanas so that they can perform the Vedic rituals. But actually, Sai Maharaj saying, actually that is not the case. Such a man does not need to wait for the next birth to become purified. He is at once purified. It is understood that he has already performed all sorts of rites. It is the so-called Brahmanas who actually have to undergo different kinds of austerities before reaching that point of purification. Yes. And going to all places of pilgrimage, that is also pious activity, and to bring you to sadhu like this. So if one already started chanting with devotion, then all these things are already done. Yes. The point is that one can start devotion by the grace of Bhagavat Shastra and Bhagavat Guru, means pure devotee Guru. He can awaken that devotion, Sadhu Shastra Kripa Jodi Krishna Mukhohai. He will be inclined to serve Krishna, so he can start devotion. When he starts devotion, beginning with hearing and chanting Harinam, then his prarabdha karma is destroyed. But it is not that anyone who will start, he is initiated into chanting Harinam and he will start under guidance of bona fide Guru, automatically immediately becomes pure devotee. No, that is not the case. But he is on the path of pure devotion, then has to pass all those stages, anartha, nivriti, nishta, all these things. But he has faith, so he is automatically already done all these other processes to bring one to devotion. And he can do Vedic sacrifices, Vedic study because of this. So tomorrow we will hear further.